They're here. It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
The Film Lounge presents...
Spoiler Free Movie Review!
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle. Come on!
with Chris Gooch.
I'm the dude. This is a satellite photo of an uncharted island in the South Pacific. A place where myth and science meet.
Kong, Skull Island. It's big, it's hairy, and it's a very interesting beast of a movie. Albeit a beast that's over 100 feet tall and weighing about 300 tons. You see, it's an interesting beast because it's got all these really amazing parts, such as Loki, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury, all in the same film, along with a surprisingly larger number of monster smackdowns than you'd usually expect for a film with a lean 2-hour runtime. However, the care factor for both the characters and the beast in question seemed to be lost somewhere within this enigmatic island of mystery.
You are going to tell me everything I don't know, or I'm going to blow your head off.
So, Kong Skull Island is set in 1973, where a team of US soldiers fresh from the war in Vietnam are sent in as escorts to an island where scientists hope to uncover an abundance of gigantic pixel-based life forms. No sooner do they arrive on the island than they meet said pixel giants, and it becomes a battle for survival to get to the other side of the island without getting killed by, well, literally anything. It seems like these guys can't even sit down on a log without it coming to life.
I spent 30 years trying to prove the truth. Monsters exist.
Now, even though it sounds like I'm wailing on the film, it is surprisingly fun. There's no drag time within the film, and the giant monster fight sequences are all very cool. You can definitely see every cent of the $190 million budget up there on the big screen, even if sometimes it just amounts to a bunch of pixels beating the shit out of each other in an environment where gravity and physics seem to be an optional extra.
You don't go into someone's house unless you're picking a fight.
The film itself opens pretty lightning quick. We get our first glimpses of Kong in the first 2 minutes, and then they don't drag their feet with the reveal once the cast reach the island. This isn't Jaws or 2014's Godzilla with their long drawn out reveals. We just get straight to the point, especially when compared to the 2005 Peter Jackson remake. Of course, in between the first and second reveal of Kong, the film works at a coke-fueled screenwriter's pace to get through all the necessary character development, which often means revealing character plot points and motivations in a very forced and clunky expositional dialogue sort of way that's not too dissimilar to a Christopher Nolan film. Although, this is even clunkier than that. The film introduces to the usual archetypes of the army, along with the traditional scientist types. We have Shea Wiggum's surly but dedicated army type, a slimmed-down John Goodman as a shady scientist government agent. We have Tony Kebbell in Thankless Soldier role number 1, and then we have Corey Horkins, Jason Mitchell, and Thomas Mann as Thankless Soldier and Scientist roles numbers 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And then of course we have Tai Jing, recently seen in The Great Wall, as a scientist who has a total of maybe 6 lines, but helps to guarantee a Chinese release date.
What you're looking at is a monster from some bygone era.
But the big stars of the film are Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson, who are just kinda there. They don't really have much to do, nor do we really know anything about them other than he's a tracker and she's a photographer. But thankfully, we have Samuel L. Jackson and John C. Reilly to pick up the slack. Once again, both these characters have very little development, but at least Jackson is given a Captain Ahab-style intensity, whilst Reilly plays up the Dennis Hopper psychedelic acid trauma victim from Apocalypse Now, who provides some good humour and the only little bit of heart in the film.
I call them skull crawlers. Why? Never said that name out loud before. It sounds stupid now that I say. Just, you call them whatever you want.
The visuals in this film are incredibly striking. Cinematographer Larry Fong, who'd lensed Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, really lets loose with some snappy, fast-paced visuals that give us some real spectacle, whether it be a quick bar fight featuring Hiddleston, or Kong himself slam-dunking army helicopters left, right and centre. The score by Henry Jackman, who gave us soundtracks for films like Kick-Ass, Captain America Winter Soldier and Big Hero 6, sounds fantastic, if not a little familiar, which is kind of the trick to a Henry Jackman score, but nonetheless, it still sounds awesome. And of course, director Jordan Vogt-Roberts gives us some inventive action sequences that have been somewhat inspired by James Cameron's Aliens and John McTiernan's Predator, although there are one or two sequences that are just laugh out loud stupid. Now, I'm sure they look good as storyboards and sounded good on paper, but once they were on the actual screen, you can't help but think to yourself, really?
It's trying to show that man is dead.
Overall, the film is fun and fast-paced, with flashy visuals and incredible pixel-related deathmatches aplenty. However, the film does suffer from the care factor issues, where when a character dies, it has no impact, and when a character survives, you're neither bothered to see them alive or still in the film. It's worth seeing on the big screen for sure, but go for the monkey and not the people. Kong Skull Island gets 2.5 meh out of 5 stars. Maybe 3 stars if I add an extra meh.
This is a good group of boys. We're all gonna die together out here. You shouldn't have come here.